I'm on the floor because, oh, there's a squirrel. Oh no. But up there, waiting. I'm feeling like, should I ask her more follow-up questions? So it's Valentine's Day and I am placing a grocery order. My husband said he thought it'd be nice if we did like a little charcuterie board and that he would be hungry when he got home. So I just was planning on like having that ready for when he got home. I'm on the floor because, oh, there's a squirrel. Because it's squirrel time. You know? I have been friends or trying to be friends with the backyard squirrels. There's one that is actually my friend and will let me hand feed them, and I've seen them running around outside, so I'm like waiting by the door. I actually see them coming down right now. I'll see if they come to the door or not. Not at the door, but up there, waiting. Girl, if you're gonna try to jump down here from there, don't do that. Hi! Would you like some nuts? Yeah? Ginger, come here. I got nuts for you. Ginger. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm on the floor, because I need to be available for Ginger's nuts. What a sentence. Yes, but Ginger is my squirrel friend. So yeah, I'm gonna sit here and order groceries, see if Ginger comes back, and then I have my first order since the beginning of January, so it's been like a month and a half. And I have some wax melts that I need to make for that order, so I'm going to work on that today. As usual, it's been a long time, and also as usual, the office is super messy, so I need to just start by cleaning it to get it to a point where I have space to actually work on that. I don't know where anything is anymore. Oh, this is okay. Take them back into the guest room. Oh gosh. Oh no. I feel like both a lot has happened and not a lot has happened since last time I filmed. In my personal life, not a whole lot has happened. In the world, everything ever has happened, and it will not stop happening, and that is why I have not filmed. I feel like many of us are just like so overwhelmed by everything going on in the world and the country. Either you go like 100% to like, I'm gonna do stuff all the time and distract myself from every thought I could possibly have, or like the other way, which I went, which was like, I'm just going to sit here and be overwhelmed and depressed. Because that's just how I am. So that's what I've been doing. Not very productive. Nothing really spurs you to work, like literally having no choice but to work. This room is just like so crowded that the second you just take like a couple things out of it, it feels a lot better. Right, and like I'm saying that the only thing that I've been doing is sitting around being depressed, but as you saw, I've been bonding with the squirrels, which is very important. Pretty much the story with the squirrels, I kind of like, they've always There's always been squirrels kind of hanging out in the backyard because we have bird feeders out there, and you know, squirrels love bird feeders. So they've been going in the feeders, and I love squirrels, so I'm not one of those people that's like, get these squirrels out of my bird feeder. I think that's ridiculous. Why would you want to get rid of squirrels? Yeah, so one day I saw one of the squirrels just like hanging out in the bird feeder, and then thought like, oh, I think I have some almonds that have just been like in the pantry for a while. I should try to see if I can give the squirrel an almond. It actually was like a very friendly squirrel. The lighting, why are you doing this to me? The squirrel was actually really friendly, and it had no problem taking the almonds from my hand. It was like actually actively approaching me. Then like over the next few days, it just got more comfortable with me. Now if it sees me, it actually just kind of like comes to me on purpose because it knows I have treats for it. So that's fun. That's like a dream come true. Yeah, so I started bonding with the squirrels, and then like 3 days later, all the fires happened in California, and they were all like not in my town, but like I'm in LA. They were all like in LA. So the first few ones didn't like affect us directly. We didn't have to evacuate or anything, but I had some friends that had situations. And then like a week after the Malibu and the Pasadena one happened, there was actually a fire that was pretty close to us. I don't know, maybe it was like 2 miles away or something, but we did have to evacuate. So we stayed with my friend, and then we all know what happened after that. In late January, which I cannot believe it's only been 3 weeks. It feels like it's been forever. That's kind of like the timeline of what was going on for the past like month since I filmed, but the house is fine. Nothing like the fire, they got it under control like really quickly, but it did spread really fast, but it didn't reach any structures, like it didn't actually harm anybody. There were like a few times where I felt like maybe I had the motivation to kind of pick things up again, but then like I'd read a headline or something would happen and like all of that motivation would just go away. And I know I can't do that forever, so getting an order where I don't have a choice but I have to fulfill the order is kind of the only thing that's like spurred me into immediate action of getting things done. But yeah, I kept having plans for videos, I just wouldn't do it. And even now, it was really hard to convince myself to film this one, and I kept feeling like, oh, I really, like, if I'm gonna film, I have to do my makeup and everything, and then I'm trying to just adopt the, not for everything, because I literally could never, but for some things, the done is better than perfect mentality. So I feel like with filming, like I'd already done it in the past, but I think I just need to accept that like a lot of the time I'm just gonna be in my pajamas without makeup on if I want to get things done, and like maybe one day if my mental problems go away, then I can like actually put myself together every single day and it's not like a huge deal. But I don't foresee that happening anytime soon. I don't even know where to start with the cleaning, and I don't know where to stop either. So I have my sewing machine out, which is not normally out here, but the story with that is that kind of like how it happened with the candle business. One night I just kind of had this like vision-ish thing of kind of like a second business, which doesn't make any sense. And from the very beginning, I kept thinking like, why am I thinking about this? I can barely hold together one business. But it's partially that with the way the Merry Wick has gone, it's just like so correlated with Taylor Swift and like pop culture things that every time I've tried to not like veer away from that, but just like go to products of a different style and like topic, I feel like it just doesn't translate well. Obviously, like, I really like Taylor Swift, but that's not the only thing that I'm interested in. So I would like to have the ability to make other kinds of products that interest me and like other topics. And this was like kind of around when the squirrels was happening. I think this happened before I started hanging out with the squirrels. What are these sentences that I'm saying? But I really love like the Beatrix Potter aesthetic and just that whole kind of thing of just like woodland creatures in clothes, and they're baking and they're having tea parties and they're living their best life in the forest. They haven't a care in the world. Like, that's what I want for myself and for everyone right now. So I was just like, I want to embody that. Like, I want that to be my life. I was like, okay, well maybe I can like make products that are like centric around that, which is like totally different than Taylor Swift. So that's when I was like, oh, maybe I should just have like a second brand. And it would still be candles, but it would also be other things. A lot of the things that I was envisioning ended up being like different sewing projects. I went down like a hyperfixation rabbit hole trying to design like different sewing things, which like I have designed things with crochet. That was like a big thing that I did. But I do not know enough about sewing to be out here trying to create my own patterns and stuff, but that's what I was doing anyway. I got a little far, but it was really hard to take what I was like envisioning in my head and trying to make it into like an actual product. And for the most part, it was kind of like bags and then bookmarks, but like all quilted. And there's just like so much like math and everything involved that like I took big breaks in between working on projects because it was just a lot for my brain to overcome all of these obstacles. I think I need to done is better than perfect this situation. I kept like kind of going on a roller coaster of like getting excited about the prospects of like having another brand and other projects, and then getting really overwhelmed by it. And then I feel like once I started pushing myself to keep working on things even when they weren't going exactly the way I wanted. And this goes back to like the problem that I have of feeling like every time I like take a step forward, something happens that makes me take like 2 steps back. It was that like literally as I'm trying to figure everything out, the news came out about Joann going bankrupt again and closing their stores. And I'm like, I literally just started, like, I'd done sewing projects in the past, but I'm like, I was just building this whole idea that would heavily rely on me having like easy access to a fabric. And Joann is like the only place for most people where that is a possibility. Like literally 2 weeks after I started like building up all of these things that had to do with fabric and sewing, the news came out that like they were not gonna be in business anymore. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't focus on this then if that's what's gonna happen. So I've just kind of been waiting it out. And then of course yesterday they like passed a certain deadline with buyers and whatever, and they released the list of all of the stores that are closing, and it's pretty much like, it's definitely the one directly in our town, and then most of the ones close to us. There's one that's staying open that's like in the heart of LA, which I don't like going over there, but like it's better than nothing. And then, but then I'm like, I don't even know if that one's gonna stay open for very long. So do I go into a kind of project where I don't even know that I'll have the supplies at one point? I don't know. So I don't know what's gonna happen, and I know it's kind of like, well, that doesn't mean I should just stop doing everything ever out of fear, but that's just how my brain works. I kind of just keep going back and forth between like, everything sucks and nothing matters, so I'm gonna do whatever I want, and everything sucks and nothing matters, so I'm not gonna care about anything. But like the rate at which I switch between those things is like multiple times a day. So I just haven't been able to like get anything done. I'm just doing some wax melts, so I'm not, and like small quantities of wax melts. So I'm not gonna use the melting pot for this because I don't need that much wax. I'm just gonna go back to the good old sous vide days. Nope, that's too much. This part of measuring out fragrance oils like is a lot of the part of that stops me from being productive. It's just like it's not a lot of work, but there's just something about it. I had also misplaced my scale, so I had to look for that for like 20 minutes. But yeah, I had remembered that the last thing I'd used the scale for was that we decided to do a process where you can make a custom diamond out of anything that contains carbon. So there are like, all of it just sounds like really morbid, but there are cremation diamonds where you can make a personalized diamond from ashes or hair. And we had decided that we were going to make diamonds for Archie. Originally, we were going to use his ashes, but then once we got them, I definitely felt a lot more attached to them than I thought I was going to. So then that made me not want to use the ashes specifically because, like, just symbolically, it's like all of him, and I didn't want to separate any of that. Like, I didn't want to take any ashes out to use them for anything. So we decided to still make them, but using his fur, which they'll do. So we went around the carpet around the bed and just like got as much fur out of it as we could, which wasn't hard. There's a lot of fur, but they needed like 2 grams or something, so we had to weigh the fur, which I used this for. And then I didn't know where I put it after that, but apparently I put it in a drawer, so it wasn't in the way in here. So it's also been like so long since I've made any candles that I'm like not accustomed to being around like straight up fragrance oil right now. So it's like, oh, it's a lot. I'm actually going to put on my mask because I don't want to get a headache. Okay, I think I'm just going to have this be like a one-day film and be done, and that's just like a good way to like get my feet wet for starting to film again. So yeah, that's an update of what's been going on, and we'll see what happens next, because I honestly have no idea, but hopefully I feel more capable of filming again, because I need to do something with myself consistently, because just being depressed is not a career. So yeah, thank you for following along, and I will see you next time.